Okay, I don't even know where to begin with this. So I am caught up with DC's Arrowverse, and I just watched the tail end of Supergirl again. In context of what I've seen so far, wow, CW, way to be self-aware. I appreciate it. Um, okay, so here's what we have happening. So I was initially thinking, due to a comment that was made at the tail end of The Flash season premiere, that the Crisis on Infinite Earths would be the storyline that they would go with. But no, 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 no. They're doing something even more risky. Um, so, give me just a sec. There we go. So, what they're doing is kind of messed up, I guess you could say. Um, yeah, what they're going for is merging the Crisis on Infinite Earths with the Elseworlds multiverse. Anyone who hasn't watched DC as of 1 minute and 30 seconds has probably checked out, so I will go ahead and do a recap for those of you who stayed on, who know somewhat about what DC's universes are all about. So, before I dive into the extended WTF that is the DC multiverse, let me go into what the Marvel Comics Omniverse is. So basically, the Omniverse is a concept in Marvel Comics where everything, including fan fiction and what if stories, are equally true as the comic books. This exploded on the internet, announced, and even though the internet was still young, it was it was big. It was really big. And the DC Marvel crossover that was possible because of it was known as the Amalgam, where certain extra dimensional entities blended characters from Earth 616 and Earth 1. Earth 1, not Earth Prime, because right here. Earth 1 is the primary DC universe, where almost all the comic books, with the exception of the Constantine comic book, which I appreciate, are set. Now, moving on from that, Earth 616 is where all of the Marvel mainline comics are set. Now, imagine those characters mashed up. Mind blown, right? Well, think that, except less crazy. So, here's what's happening. What if stories, right? What if, hypothetically, the Arrow, or Oliver Queen, was Barry Allen, and Barry Allen was Oliver Queen? Okay. That's where it starts getting crazy. Because Supergirl doesn't get replaced by anybody. And that actually is something that happens a lot in crisis events, where the members of the super family don't change as much, but alternate versions are introduced. Um, but this is also an Elseworlds story. So that opens up the possibility for the evil Superman, or the Superman from Russia, which is kind of effing crazy, but it's possible. That said, there is something to be had about. Oof, I don't know how to describe this. The fact they're bringing the Monitor into this. And the fact they're bringing the Monitor into this is just driving me up a wall, right? I mean, okay, so let me explain who the Monitor is real quick. The Monitor exists in every single Marvel and DC universe. He only makes physical appearance in the DC universe because the DC multiverse is most often threatened, but he pops up whenever the Anti-Monitor is threatening to destroy all of existence, including parallel realities. Well, Earth 90 was literally name dropped in the here, this is where you are section at the end of the last episode of Supergirl. Earth 90, in canon, by the way, is where Smallville, the 90s Flash TV show, and on a parallel Earth 90, the adventures of Clark and Lois. It was a parallel timeline within the same reality, not an alternate reality. It was a weird way of phrasing it. But technically, Earth 90 is where all three of those shows existed. And now... ooh. Earth 90 is basically dead. And the 90s Flash is going to have to run to Earth 1 to try to save everybody. And the Monitor is destroying worlds, which I can only assume is he's trying to provide incentive for the oncoming battle? Question mark? It's unclear. But nobody really knows what the Monitor is up to until after he's explained it. The original Monitor is like Superboy Prime from our world. The real world. Vanished without a trace and became basically an overdeity of the DC multiverse, and ensured that copies of himself would pop up in every universe as agents, if you will. When the New 52 was established, yeah, that version was born completely human, rather than raised on Oa, which is something that is unique to the New 52. Except, that was Earth 1. The Earth 90 Monitor is still, since it is now outside of the main 52 continuity, still from Oa. Still from the home world of the people who created the Green Power Rings. So, yeah, that could be a problem. Also, the grimoire he's holding... Never give a Monitor the power to rewrite reality with that ease or efficiency, which is probably why he's handing it off to different people to use. But that book has appeared before. Every time that the Monitor is looking for someone in particular, that book shows up. So, I'm wondering which hero is going to disappear from the DC universe in order to help Universe 90's Monitor save the multiverse. Mind blown. I am going to combine that with I know how the Monitor is able to slip into Earth 1. Hear me out. The boundaries between the individual universes are thin. It's easy to jump between them. Except that's in between the main universes. And only the main universes in the multiverse. All of the what-ifs, like Earth 90 or Earth X, it's just that much harder to go between the two. Unless something else happens. The crisis on Earth X was only possible because Nora went back in time. Technically, in these two episodes, right here, last week, Flash, last week, Legends of Tomorrow, two timeline-altering issues happened. Earth X is the 53rd universe, so it's still relatively close to Earth 1. This is nowhere near close. This is Earth 90 we're talking about here. That's invading Earth 1. So, hypothetically, the combination of what happened at the end of this last episode of Legends of Tomorrow, combined with the time travel shenanigans Nora and Barry just pulled off, it might have opened the door for the Monitor to come check in on them. Or at least the version of the Monitor from Earth 90. Which brings me to another question. Batman and Superman, like, we've seen Superman and Supergirl, right? And I've already mentioned there's the possibility of us getting evil Superman this season. But we have not seen Batman. And there's a good reason for it. Earth 1, in the comics, Batman is alive. Earth 1 in the DC version of the New 52, Batman is no more. Whether dead or retired, it doesn't matter. He's gone. How do I know this? Well, instead of bringing in the Batman, they're bringing in Batwoman. Gotham's best protector, doesn't abandon Gotham on a whim. Like, she leaves occasionally to help out places, but it's rare. Unlike the Batman, who leaves Gotham regularly. So, yeah. We might have a Justice League on our hands, led by Batwoman and Supergirl. I'm excited, but it does bring me to the question of why Earth 90? Because there has to be a reason, and there have to be broader implications that will ripple out into the main series after the crossover episode. But we'll have to see. Anyway, talk to your legs off. Bye, guys.